question to start.
Yeah, and you know, I wonder if the dynamic with that Shadow Dance Arcane, I wonder if that was a Happy Minty Venruki thing, or if it's something that they'll be running more. But I didn't think that they had very much success for it, even though that they thought that it was going to be the comp to play, or rather the spec to play against other RMPs with, kind of throw them off a bit. But we are getting into our match, as you can see on your screen. It is going to be Button Bashers on your top left, once you can see the player frames, and on the top is going to be number 1. In the middle is going to be Orange Marmalade, and of course the new rogue of Hiren, and he's wearing the same type of gears as he does every single match. So that 130 energy, wearing all that PvP gear. And of course on the top right you do have Soda, followed by Venruki and Rekful.
And Rekful opting for a little different choice as gear goes, as he's going to have 120 energy. So you do see that little difference between these two rogues. And now Ring of Valor, very fast-paced map. Expected to go quick once these openers do come across, but really Orange Marmalade and Venruki expect the same out of both. They're going to come flying across, try to hit that Nova, and if they get a pop onto the opposing rogue, it is not looking good for their opponents at that point.
Alright, so the teams are tossing last-second buffs right now as the elevator comes up. The match is about to start. Orange Marmalade, let's see if he can hit that freeze and get them out of stealth, and it looks like, oh, he did. Look at that. They're getting right onto Rekful right away. Orange Marmalade taking a little bit of damage right now, blinking away, and look at the damage onto Venruki already. Orange Marmalade not even helping out with that damage at all.
And finally, he's trying to get some channels into Venruki. There they go, and just Orange Marmalade turreting at their side of the arena into Venruki, down to 3,000 HP. Still hasn't blocked yet. In comes an early Master Spell, and he will actually get the second one. So Venruki, Hypothermia, 8,000 HP. We do see a CS onto Soda, and now he's finally able to get the penance in on Venruki and pick him up. Now Soda is in a poly, though. Venruki down to 10,000 HP, and now you see Orange Marmalade just pumping Frostbolts into him. Oh, wow, then we do see a Shadow Word Death onto Poly. Finally a CS to stop Orange Marmalade's damage, but Venruki still very low, 6,000 HP in a cheap shot, down to 6,500, still very low. In comes a Divine Hymn from Soda as he's trying to keep his team up, so great pressure from Button Bashers.
It is, and they are definitely controlling this game, but Complexity coming back, getting their life back up. Venruki is able to heal the full counterspell right after, and Rekful's Minute is taking a ton of damage right now from the entire team of Button Bashers. Down to 10,000 hit points right now, trying to get away. He is snared by Hiren, and look at that, 6,000 hit points. He is in trouble.
And Soda did have to sit through that blind, so that is going to be used. Hiren caught into a kidney shot, but all three members of Button Bashers sitting pretty as far as HP goes at this point. Soda down to 2,000 mana, as well as number 1. Venruki poly once again, so Orange Marmalade winning this control war at this point. CS in a fear on a Venruki, coming out of that Rekful, bouncing around 13,000 HP. So Holy Fire's coming in from number 1, and now we see both teams getting very low on mana. Hymn of Hope used by number 1, put into a poly. Hiren getting very low, 7,000 HP. Number 1 still sitting in the poly. Down goes Hiren. Rekful sitting at 10,000 HP and getting picked back up from Soda. So even with that rocky start for Complexity, they're able to turn it around and score a kill onto Hiren, and it looks like they're going to make sure that they take it nice and steady and clean this game up.
Yeah, they were Button Bashers controlled the game from the entire beginning of that match, but you saw Complexity just manage to sit through it, not die right away. Venruki, that block, if number 1 had waited just a split second longer, he would have hit that block and probably killed him. But Complexity doing a great job of realizing right when Button Bashers was going to go for that kill, like we've seen in the past when they play against other RMPs or any comp actually. They put their all into going for a kill. So if Complexity realizes that's going to happen, go very defensive, which is what they did. After they tried to take Venruki down, they switched over to Rekful and trained him pretty hard. And once he started to get low, he knew immediately that he would have to go in the defensive.
And now look at the damage done. Orange Marmalade, 65,000 damage compared to Venruki's 22,000. So almost 3 times the damage done comparing the two mages. Orange Marmalade basically sat in the middle and turreted for a good portion of that map and still controlling very well, but it just wasn't enough.
And the big reason why that happened was because of how offensive Button Bashers was from the start. Getting on Venruki right from the start, meant that he could not toss those polys out or counter spells onto Orange Marmalade.
And honestly, I thought it was going to be going in the favor of Button Bashers, but a great bounce back from Complexity. Wreckful being under pressure after Venruki. Venruki able to make it through that damage. And now we do see these two teams. They will be getting ready to queue up almost immediately, as these teams can't change their comps up until after the second and fourth games. But still, I do not believe they're going to change anything. And we do see Ryan Moore giving them the thumbs up. And here we go. The second game will be played on Ruins of Lordaeron. We'll be getting a camera into that in just a moment. And now you see it. Me and Jared sitting here getting ready for a long day, and these matches starting out just how I hoped they would. Very fast-paced, both teams getting very close to kills, and I'm impressed by Complexity so far.
It's great to see an exciting match right from the start. You know, ROV, some people don't like it, but hey, an RMP Mira on ROV is great. You know, there's not very much LOS options. We did see right at the end Complexity taking advantage of the pillar twice. We saw a huge hymn of hope from Soda while he was all the way up on that pillar.
Divine hymn.
Divine hymn.
It's a hymn, though. We're getting it. Now we see Orange Marmalade on the screen. Considered a mage hero, I guess, with this 1v2 that we did see earlier at the very beginning of this year, actually. Great player and great guy. And now Venruki as well on the other side. It's always interesting to see the matchups in these RMP mirrors, class by class, the rogue versus rogue, mage versus mage, and of course, how offensive a priest is able to get in these mirrors.
And that's a big deciding factor for Button Bashers. When their team goes for the kill, they put everything on the table. If they're not going to get that kill late in the game when they identify that that's a target they need to drop, which was Wreckful, Wreckful lived through it, and Button Bashers wasn't going to come back.
All right, gates about to open on game 2 between Button Bashers and Complexity. Complexity taking that first win, and now we see here, and he's just going to come across the middle of the sarcophagus. Nothing starting quite yet, just weighing it out, wants to get the opener that he wants to go for, and now we see it, an early open onto Orange Marmalade. We'll start with a Garrote, and he is dispelled down, was able to get forked off, now sitting around 13,000 HP. He is CS, so the pressure will be onto Orange Marmalade. Not a lot of damage going on to Complexity yet. A very early block by Orange Marmalade, as he's just going to sit through it. Master Spell's not going to take it off, and out comes Orange Marmalade. We do see a little bit of damage going on to Wreckful, and in comes that Holy Fire Sheep on a Venruki, instantly dispelled. We're put right back into another Sheep, so it looks like Control is the name of Button Basher's game at this point.
Yeah, look at the momentum swing with that crowd control, but now it's on to Kieran right now, and he was kidney shot, got out of it with a trinket, trying to get away. Doing a little jump kiting right there, and now he's going to get right back onto his target when he realizes he has those heals. Wreckful down to half, having to already blown Vanish and Sprint, trying to get away from there, and there he goes. Now Haren's going to Vanish to try to get back onto his target, identify when he can, and looking for him. There he goes. Now he's on to Wreckful.
And now Heron still not topped off yet, and Orange Marmalade going to trinket that poly, but look at number 1 caught into a blind at this moment. Heron in a kidney shot, 11,000 HP. In comes Pain Suppression. The fear was a little late, so he's able to get the Pain Suppression off first. Venruki caught into a poly, so Orange Marmalade controlling once again, but another poly on a number 1. His trinket will be down at this point. And now look over to Soda, though, 342 mana. He's completely tapped at this moment. Number 1 in another poly, but Wreckful getting very low, 14,000 HP, trying to, and we see here and actually kiting away. Looks like he might actually go for a restop, but Soda will come across and get a melee swing off. Orange Marmalade blocking once again, but still Soda, no mana at this point.
So Orange Marmalade using his second block, so he's in trouble.
Wreckful goes down. I mean, look at it. Soda had to go off and try to drink, and just Wreckful catching no heals and will go down, and Soda's just going to continue on drinking. Number 1 very low on mana at this point, and look for these two members of Complexity continue playing. Oh, wow, a sap by Heron on the Soda as he tried to get back into the fight. He's immediately going to trinket it. Holy Fire onto Heron as they're going to go for it, followed by a Penance, but in comes a Power Word Shield. And Heron's going to try to get away from that damage and come across Mind Control from Soda onto Heron, but has to break it immediately. So both members of Complexity going to play it out. We just see blind in a poly onto Soda.
Yeah, they're going to make sure that there is no way that they're going to come back from this 2-to-3 ratio right now. And by the way, if you do have the HD stream, you should probably rewind and see if Soda totally whiffed that Master Spell or not. The spell effect was so far away from Orange Marmalade. Maybe he just barely tapped him right on the edge and it was a resist, but that would have been terrible.
So after 2 games played between Button Bashers and Complexity, we are tied up at 1-1. Taking a quick look at the damage breakdown, of course a little skewed as there were all 3 members of Button Bashers left at the end of that game, but still, Orange Marmalade 72,000 damage compared to Venruki's 26,000.
Now if we would have paused that match right when Orange Marmalade blocked, we wouldn't have known if... it would be hard to tell who was going to win that match because it was the exact opposite of what happened on ROV right before. Button Bashers controlled the beginning of the game on ROV, and Ruins of Lordaeron, this time, Complexity right out of the gate, throwing Button Bashers' game right back into their face, getting on Orange Marmalade from the start, allowing Venruki to put out...
I don't think it's 2 Button Bashers, Complexity 0. But, you know, we'll fix things like that. And it looks like these players are going to be ready to queue right back into it. Blades Edge Arena for the 3rd game, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But both teams at 1-1, neither team going to really change anything up. They're both very confident in their RMP play, and they're going to stick to what they know.
Well, what's funny, this is going to be a great match to watch because both of these teams have controlled the early game, and both of those teams lost late in the match. So now it's hard to tell if these mages are just going to go totally offensive from the start, trying to crowd control the other mage, have their rogue right on him when he needs to be, and see if that will pay off for them, or will both these teams realize that both RMPs did not win the game if they started out on the enemy mage. So we'll have to see. It's a big tactic choice right now.
All right, Blades Edge Arena, RMP Mirror should be very interesting to see if either team changes things up. And that early game, though, the offensive pressure, it just doesn't carry through whenever they go on the mage. The mage is eventually able to break free, and that's when they're in a lot of trouble. So I'm expecting both rogues to really try to immediately get onto the opposing rogue. Wreckful and Heron, both under pressure. And so far, Orange Marmalade really doing the bulk of the damage for Button Bashers.
And now, actually, both rogues are probably wearing just about the exact same gear. Heron having a little bit more hit points, but look, 120 energy this time. He knew that he wasn't going to be he wasn't trained that hard last time, so swapping it up a bit.
All right, and we do have the match started here and going to hang back and wait out the opener. We do see a blizzard coming across from Venruki trying to get a pop, and it looks like Orange Marmalade is going to follow in suit, but both rogues staying on their side of things. Heron finally making a little bit of a move, and now he's going to turn right back around. Both of these teams want to make sure they get an opener that they want. So we're going to sit and wait for these 2 rogues to decide who will start this game.
I think that they both were afraid of the last 2 matches, so here we go. Heron just sitting in the center of the bridge. We do see Soda mounted back up. He knows that if he has to move quickly, he needs to. All right, so Heron in the center of the bridge on your screen, waiting for that opener, and Venruki tossing out some arcane blasts, or
explosions.
Wow, arcane explosions right there. And oh, wow, that was really close, but that power word shield stopped that.
Oh, actually,
that's Orange Marmalade's blizzard right there.
Blizzard coming down. And Wreckful's actually on his team side of thing on the bottom of the ramp. And now Venruki making a little bit of a push across the bridge. Heron is going to sprint. We do see a sap on a Venruki. And out comes actually PI number 1 coming through. And he's going to spam Dispel and come across. Early block by Venruki out in the middle of the bridge. In comes a Mass Dispel. Venruki caught out in the middle of the bridge in a little bit of trouble. A gouge on a Heron. And now we do see it followed by Kenny shot. Early CS into a poly on Orange Marmalade immediately comes out of that, but Heron not taking a lot of damage just yet. He is just going to sit through this. There's a Vanish, and he's not going to get anything with this first Vanish. An Arcane Blast from Orange Marmalade as his Frost line was locked, and now Venruki trying to get some Frost Bolts across. A little bit of damage going to Heron, dropping down around 15,000, but picked up immediately with a Pennant. Number 1 caught into a poly, and now Heron's going to kite down to the bottom side of the ramp as he knows his healer is not able to help him out. Poly on to Wreckful in that bad position. Wow, a Mass Dispel comes around from Soda to get him out, so great job so far. Number 1 CS, so far Complexity doing a great job of controlling number 1, and now a blind.
All right, and Heron's down by himself, actually. He's trying to get a re-stealth off right now, realizing that his priest is blinded, doing a great job of realizing exactly the position that he needs. But look at Soda coming down and popping the rogue out of stealth with that Holy Nova.
And now we see here under a lot of pressure in a kidney shot, 14,000 HP, a Fear and a CS onto number 1, and followed by Dismantle onto Heron. So Complexity keeping the momentum so far in this game, but number 1 still able to keep Heron up, with Heron doing a great job of hiding around Blades Edge Arena.
All right. Venruki just blocked right there, even though Soda had him picked up with a penance right there. And look at the crowd control onto Orange Marmalade this time from Venruki. Lots of polys, lots of counter spells coming out.
And now Reckful actually did get a re-stealth off, and so did Heron. They're both right by one another. Now, one thing to note is Heron has no buffs, and Reckful able to get that shadow sight and see Heron, but Heron is able to get the opener before he comes across. There's the pain suppression onto Reckful from Soda, followed immediately by Divine Hymn, as he knows the damage is going to be coming into his rogue, and he will live through the stun lock of Heron as Reckful is coming across. We did see a fall off the bridge as number one is down bottom now, and Heron is down as well. And we see Reckful come down, and we do see the Holy Fire Mind Blast coming across. Reckful dropping down to 16,000 HP, but Heron caught into a kidney. And now Reckful is going to try to get away, but he is caught into a Nova right in the face of Heron. That damage is coming across from Orange Marmalade. Reckful down to 6,000 HP, caught into a kidney shot. Venruki was CS'd, 5,000 HP, and in comes a penance from Soda. Venruki sheet, but still Reckful not out of the woods just yet.
Down to 7,500 hit points right now in a Nova, down in the center of the bridge, 4,000 hit points. Big Frostbolt stopped by Reckful right there, but look at that, 2,000 hit points.
The water elemental is trying to put him down. Oh wow, he finally will cut around, and Shadow Word Death from number one is going to put down Reckful. Reckful trying to do anything he could to live through that situation. Button Bashers gonna win this and make it 2-1 over Complexity.
If you want to watch an RMP match, if you play RMP, it was this one. It had everything. Soda with the out of line of sight mass dispel to get Reckful out of sheep. It was amazing.
And now look at the damage breakdown once again. Orange Marmalade, almost 89,000 damage. Venruki, 30,000.
Big difference. There was a lot of crowd control onto Venruki late game, and that made a huge difference.
And so far, Orange Marmalade shining these games, but I think the pinnacle of that match, Heron kiting around while number one was chained through CC for a ridiculous amount of time. And honestly, Complexity is unable to really take advantage of that situation, even with Heron not in the fight, number one CC'd, and Orange Marmalade still putting out this much pressure.
Kills.
And now, as we've talked about earlier in the show, Button Bashers preferring those long games. It shows. They are comfortable no matter how long these matches go, and it almost looks like they get even better and better as they continue on.
All right, it is 2-1 now in favor of Button Bashers. We've seen 3 different maps so far, and really exciting play on each map. Large swinging momentum changes. I mean, this series has had everything so far.
This game is big in so many different ways for Complexity. That huge loss yesterday and now in this RMP mirror, something that they have played countless amount of times. They do not want to be down 3-1 in this series against Button Bashers. They need this confidence booster. They need to have a win. And it looks like we are going to go into Game 4. It's going to be played on Ruins of Lordaeron. And we'll be getting into that in just a moment. But as far as Complexity goes, I mean, these games are so close. I mean, do you try to make some sort of drastic change, or you just try to make it a little bit better what you're doing?
I think they need to work on the beginning of the match a lot better, and that was their problem in the last couple matches. I mean, they did a great job the last time they played on this map, actually, right at the beginning. You know, they forced a very, very early block from Orange Marmalade, and that's what they need to do. They need to capitalize on the beginning of the match. You know, they need to land that Mass Dispel right away once he blocks and try to get a kill.
I'm really looking to Venruki to step it up. So far, Orange Marmalade shining for the team of Button Bashers and really just shadowing Venruki. I mean, anytime Venruki even tries to get a Frostbolt off onto a target that may be getting low, Orange Marmalade is there and knows he needs to stop it. It really looks like the mage battle that always goes on in these RMP matches is definitely being won by Orange.
So Venruki has a lot of obstacles to overcome. Hopefully these last 3 matches, I mean, Venruki hasn't been doing as well as Orange Marmalade, like we've said over and over. He really needs to shine in this match if his team wants to take this series.
All right, and it looks like these Rogues are going to stick with their gear choices from last game. So Heron liking that gear swap out, and the gates have opened. Clutch game for Complexity. Heron once again mounting out and taking that little sidestep. He takes it slow and steady at the start of these games. Both teams staying power word shielded up, and now Heron does have Venruki targeted, but he's still not going to start anything just yet. We do have a fear on the Soda, though, from number 1. And Heron still, there we go, a Garrote on a Venruki, 7,000 HP, does get the block off. Will the Master Spell come across? And number 1, there he goes. He will finally get it off, but it looks like it's a little too late. And we do see a CS, so a lot of pressure on a Venruki. Wow, he will trinket that. Pain suppression used, so a lot of cooldowns being used. But look over to Heron, caught into a kidney shot, number 1 blinded. In comes a Holy Fire from Soda as well, so Heron under pressure does use Vanish. In comes a Divine Hymn from number 1 picking up his team. Now can they put more pressure on a Venruki? Hypothermia will be dropping in just a moment.
Reckful seems to be the target of this Button Bashers team. However, they don't seem to be doing as well at the beginning of the match. Heron staying right onto his target. Both Rogues taking a lot of damage. Reckful having to cloak right there, getting all those debuffs off, and he's picked back up by that Hymn.
And now we see number 1 caught into a poly. Very dangerous situation for Heron, sitting around 10,000 HP. He will cloak and put up another evasion. And all 3 members of Complexity topped up, but Venruki caught into a poly once again. Big fear from Soda on a number 1, and Heron caught into a gouge. Orange Marmalade CS completely stopping Button Bashers in their tracks. And now they're going to put more pressure on a Heron. There's that pain suppression from number 1. Deep freeze on a Heron, but still number 1 able to keep him up very easily.
And we have a counterspell onto Venruki, and Reckful taking all the damage right now. Big fear onto Soda and Reckful. Reckful down to half. They realize this is when they need to get a kill. Reckful down to 1,000 hit points right now. And Soda blinded, and Reckful is in trouble, and he's going to go down.
Goodbye, Reckful. That's going to be the 3rd win for Button Bashers, and that's what we talk about when this team does come to play. You hear them whenever they get close for the kill, and all 3 members are a part of it. That's what this RMP does very well. Now Venruki and Soda are going to play it out to the end, but I don't believe they're going to be able to do much, as number 1 does have enough mana to make it through to the end of this. And we do see Orange Marmalade getting his Evocate off and going to gear up to finish this match off. Frostbolt's going into Venruki. So this is going to put Button Bashers up 3-1 over Complexity. Button Bashers continuing their winning streak. Complexity in a very bad spot so far in the tournament here in Anaheim. We are going to play out that final 5th game, as it may influence the round robin standings. And this is a chance for Complexity to at least bring it back a little bit. You do not want to lose your first series 5-0 and your second series 4-1. They need at least that momentum that they can take into the next series.
And Reckful didn't get any big numbers out whatsoever. His highest damage was 2,900. I mean, you look at Heron's 5,000. I mean, there's that burst damage that is when they needed it. It wasn't there from Reckful.
And now, once again, look at the damage breakdown. Compare the 2 mages. Orange Marmalade, 56,000. Venruki, 16,000.
And look at the Priest. 10,000 from number 1 and about 3,000 from Soda. I mean, that made a big difference in scoring those kills.
So, overall, the team of Button Bashers is doing a lot more damage and still seeming to win the CC war. So a very confident Button Bashers team, and it's great to see them doing well. As always, we continuously say, that group of guys, they're great to hang out with, and it's great to see them to come over to the States and do so well. All right, and we are going to be going into the 5th game. It's going to be played on Dalaran Arena, left side of your screen. Button Bashers, right side Complexity. I really don't know what to say on the part of Complexity so far. Heron really doing a great job, and so much pressure coming out early on in these games. Even though in those first 2 games, the team with that early momentum actually ended up losing, as they were unable to continue it on, but that game, not the same story.
Not at all. I mean, the second time they faced on Runes of Lordaeron, it could have been Complexity's time to shine, but they couldn't capitalize on it.
All right. Gates will be opening in just a moment, so we'll get that in-game camera thrown your way. And here you see it, Dalaran Arena. Going to be the series already decided in the way of Button Bashers, but still Complexity needing to save some face and continue momentum. It needs something to get started, otherwise it's going to be a long day of WoW for them.
Yeah, and we do see Reckful right now is hanging way back, and this is pretty interesting. He's normally right there, right at the beginning of the fight. Both rogues kind of scoping the battlefield out, but here we go.
Reckful having a little trouble with those stairs.
Yeah, oh man, and Reckful is punished for not making it up those stairs. So we see all those dispels onto Reckful. I'm sure they're going to be going on him eventually.
And there it is, cheap shot onto Reckful, and this is not a good start for Complexity already, but Reckful still staying pretty well as far as HP goes, 15,000 HP, now dropping very low as those casts came in from Orange. 10,000 HP and still just stuck out in the middle arena, but Heron under a lot of pressure, drops down to 7,000. Number one caught into those polys, will cloak and vanish. This guy knows when he needs to get away. And now we'll see if Complexity continue this on. We do see them switching over to Orange Marmalade. Here comes the Venice on the Heron, so expect him to get into this fight. Orange Marmalade having to block. There's a cheap shot onto Reckful. Will trinket the cheap shot and vanish, but he's going to get popped out, and now we see the damage onto Orange Marmalade. He is going to have to use pain suppression, so Complexity doing a great job of turning it around. Reckful caught into a kidney shot, and now we'll see if actually Button Bashers can do anything with it. Heron caught into a poly for a few seconds. Fear onto Venruki, so Venruki again still not a big part of this game so far. Reckful down below 10,000. Pain suppression of Complexity used, followed by Divine Hymn. Heron just pumping damage into Reckful.
Yeah, Reckful is taking a ton of damage this match so far, but Soda's able to keep up, and there we see to him and Heron, both rogues getting down to 9,000 hit points right now. Big deep freeze onto Heron, down to 1,000 hit points, and they drop him.
So Heron goes down, and there we go. Complexity able to turn it around, even with that bad opener. These teams that get that early momentum just don't seem to be able to continue it through. A sap onto Reckful, followed by Dispels with an opener, and still not able to take out the win. So I honestly don't count Complexity out just yet. They're showing a great job so far. Even still losing the series, able to win that 5th game and bring it back just that little bit.
Number one trying to do everything he can with that big self-penance, and but still not able to keep himself back up with Reckful right on him the entire time. Big fear right there. Number one is probably going to die since he's completely out of mana.
All right, and Complexity going to clean this game up, giving the win to them. So this series will end Button Bashers 3, Complexity 2. This is the first series here Saturday live in Anaheim. Plenty of action to continue on through the rest of today, on to tonight, and we do have a lot of games coming up. Our next match will be BHMS versus Fnatic. Now BHMS being that second Complexity roster, yesterday beating SKUS, and Fnatic having to play Check 6 on day one, losing their series 4-1. So another winning team versus a losing team. Fnatic hoping to turn it around. BHMS going to try to continue it through. But first, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back here with you live in Anaheim for the Major League Gaming 2009 PC Circuit played on HP.